Of course, you've all been exploited, you people. That's what you do to evil, you exploit it. You see, the anti-concept when it was born, with the rebellion of Eva, made a fatal mistake. It presumed it was rebelling against something that already existed. Instead, nothing had existed yet, in theory, because this was the first planet to exist. The Earth. Mother Earth was the first planet to exist. Of course, Mother Earth was situated in the middle of time, so according to another way of looking at things, there were already zillions of gargantuans of worlds existing behind in time. But of course, also according to the same thinking, there were also zillions of gargantuans of worlds existing ahead in time. You see, time came to exist with everything existing from the beginning to the end. And you were placed in the middle of time. So that was Eva's tremendous error, because we all knew what would happen once we put the Earth there. And the gods who created the Earth knew that they would lose her. And everyone knew about it. Everyone knew that somebody would rebel. And Toy Girl secretly knew it would be Eva, because she was the most beautiful girl of the group. And she was the person who rebelled. And there were 400 of you in the beginning, not 2, because 2 evil people can destroy the entire entity of nature. They can destroy everything for zillions of gargantuans of light years in a flash and send it all to hell. So there are never less than 400 human beings born on any planet anywhere at the same time. So anyway, Eva, though she did do a fair amount of damage, I mean, she converted the people on a zillion gargantuan planets into evil people incurably, and on many other planets as well, but they were cured. Everyone had instructions forwards and backwards in time to suddenly sit down on the ground if they felt invaded by a strange force, and they did that. And if they sat down on the ground, the gods would, if they had time to do it, they would arrive expressly to free them from this force, to convert them back into good people. Because it has to be tempestive, the intervention, if someone is converted into an evil person. They have to be converted back very quickly before they have made any movements at all. So they had instructions to stay absolutely motionless, because any movement could cause them to create havoc, to send beings to hell or things like that, because evil bases its activity on gestures, on symbolism and all that. So the gesture of a hand could send a million beings to hell. So after doing that, it's very difficult to convert the evil person back into a good person, and it's also very difficult to terminate that person. Although you would say that person is innocent, it's not his fault, but it's difficult to terminate him. He'd just automatically go to hell for what he did by moving his hand. So Eva did the most incredible amount of damage, and she paid for it because, as I think I said in another video, she met me. She thought she'd jump forward in time and come and meet me and scupper everything. Well, I was born also to meet her, so I was prepared for it. And she jumped back in time to be with the group, and she thought she had control over me from the past. But she didn't have control over me. I was kidding her. And I did the most horrifying thing to her. I sucked her forward through time, and I sucked her up through my body and steamed her out of my head, which sent someone into the rollover. The rollover is the most hideous hell imaginable. Eva was left there back 14,000 years ago, lying on the ground, whereas her soul had been steamed out of my head. So, Eva did an incredible amount of damage, yes, but we exploited Eva because we all knew about Eva. Right from the beginning of time, my father, God John Smith, knew about Eva, and my mother, the goddess Heather Smith, knew about Eva. We all knew that it would be Eva that would do the most hideous damage ever. And of course, few people have had Zillion gargantuan planets following you, because those were the ones we couldn't cure. And those Zillion gargantuan planets have done many things that you people haven't done. They've gone past the year 2000 and the nuclear holocaust, and they have had the second Dark Ages, and then they have had the Blade Runner Society, which is the most incredibly monstrous society, and then after they have had the second nuclear holocaust and the third Dark Ages, followed by the Borg Patronage Society, and then in the year 2900 they blew up their planets. Well, of course, we've always been fighting against these Catholic occupied planets, as we call them, and we have been sending forces in regularly to invade them and to try and terrorize them and to punish them. And we have predicted that we will have dealt with all your followers that you pretend not to know about in the year 2112. And I intend to still be here in the year 2112, you know. You know, that's not an extraordinary claim, you know. Peasants are known to have been alive at 140 years old after hard work in the fields all their life, you know. I read once the story of a peasant of 143 years old who hanged himself because he was bored with life. Well, I don't get so bored so easily, so I will be very interested in seeing what kind of monstrosity you will be doing here on this planet, and I will be amused by it. And because the things that are not amusing are what you do in the entire universe, in the rest of nature, which is a true word for the universe. Because unfortunately it is not a universe, it is a biverse. It consists of the good people and the bad people, the good entities and the bad entities, and you are the bad entities, and you are the criminal command center here on Mother Earth. So, if you really want to fulfill importance, you are important, and you are the be-all and end-all of everything, because you were born in the beginning, and at a certain point you will have exhausted your plan and your resources for devastating the rest of nature, and at that point nature will intervene against you, the criminal commanders, the criminal bosses, and you will be the only people who will not have had a Blade Runner society and a Borg patronage society. Your most disgusting creations will be things that you will never have seen and you will never have believed in either. So that will be your humiliation, to not have either seen or believed in what you have actually done unconsciously in your plan, the Catholic plan. You will go to hell in utter humiliation. That is what we want for you people. Because we don't blame everything on Eva, and she has already been punished in the most hideously gargantuan way. No. We don't blame everything on Eva, we blame things on the people who follow as well. For example, we don't blame just the Americans and the Europeans for creating a huge concentration camp called Africa and torturing the people inside it with hunger and exploiting them by taking their organs out and transplanting them in Brazil. No, we don't blame just the Americans or the Europeans, we blame the Africans for allowing the Americans to do that to them. I mean, we don't just blame the Americans for having dropped the bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. You see, they shouldn't have been there. They should have left the cities. It's been tested on catatonic planets that if a plane departs from 3,000 miles away carrying a hydrogen bomb, well, headed towards the city with orders, absolute orders, to drop the hydrogen bomb on the city, and the commander doesn't want to do it, but he's forced to do it. And once he arrives above the city, the people have all left the city. They have all escaped into the countryside, instinctively. If it was at night, they woke up out of their beds and they left the city. And they took their dogs and cats with them. And this has been experimented, because you people are masochists right down inside your souls. So we don't just blame the Americans for having done that to Hiroshima and Nagasaki. We blame the people in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. We blame the Japanese for having collaborated in this sadomasochistic event. And as you see, strangely enough, the Japanese became friends with Americans immediately afterwards. I mean, after such an atrocious act, one shouldn't become friends with those sort of people. One shouldn't have American tourists going around enjoying themselves in Japan. You know, you don't make friends with people who have done such an atrocity to you, no. Unless it was all in your sadomasochistic game, trying to shock the world with your massacres, your atrocities, trying to shock God. No, you won't shock God at all. He's unshockable. No, because you do far worse things. So, anyway, you are the center of attention of the universe, the center of attention of nature. So that's all I wanted to say in this video.